Welcome to the Hot Young Designers Club podcast.
I'm Rebecca Plum, your big sister.
And I'm Shaun Surha, your GBF.
We're not that hot or that young.
But we believe it's a state of mind that helps us build adaptable and profitable businesses.
We rely on the support of our design besties to get through each day.
So let's explore the emotional, practical, and humorous sides of being interior designers.
Welcome to the club.
Hey, Shaun.
What's up, Rebecca?
Okay, I'm feeling really kind of fancy right now.
Reporting live from our submarine.
So this is the first time we've recorded IP in person with a legit setup.
Yeah, it's I don't know what this is. Like a magic box.
Yeah.
Like it's a thing that connects our audio together.
So we don't get like weird feedback and...
Yeah. So Podcast Buddy, who are our editors, will definitely appreciate this because they've had words for us after we've tried to
we fucked around and found out.
Janky.
Sorry, guys.
Janky record. And
you may know what we're talking about, a couple of those.
If you've listened to the episodes long enough, you'll hear that some of them are much worse than others where we're in a room echoing off of each other. And
yeah, because we normally record 500 miles away from each other, which it makes it easy for the technical side of podcasting, but it's more fun to be in the same room.
Together. Yeah.
Together. So yeah, anyway, we figured out what we need to do so that, yeah, it sounds better, hopefully. You're welcome.
You're welcome, hotties. You deserve it.
So on that note, let's do a little housekeeping.
Housekeeping. Time for the turndown service.
So first and foremost, thank you in advance for clicking in to review our show.
Yes, we love. The ratings are great. That's step 1 of being a design BFF. And then step 2 of being a design BFF is actually writing a little review and giving us some kind words.
Please, please, please. Everything helps. Second, you should check out our shop. We have some downloadable resources that we've worked on, and we think they're pretty accessible and plug and play.
Yeah, we've tried to make it very easy. And I feel like the biggest thing that we did is what a lot of other downloads don't do is that we handled all the copywriting for most people.
Yeah, that's always the hardest part for me. So again, you're welcome. Shaun did it all. No.
We've already handled most of what you might need to say to people.
We got the words right. So make it you can obviously change everything into your own voice. But yeah, we wanted it so you're not just trying to figure out how to say stuff.
Yeah.
And you can edit and make it yours. So that's at shop.hotyoungdesignersclub.com. Shop/designer. Okay. And we also love our loyals.
Our loyal hotties over on Patreon. We've been having a lot of fun on Patreon, actually. I feel like the episodes the exclusive episodes that we post there, something about being told that I can be more free with what I'm saying makes me want to be. Not that we're not here, but it's just...
it is I don't know if we talked about this before. You have a party, you host a bunch of friends over, and you're fun and you're yourself.
Yeah.
But then everyone leaves but your last 3 besties, and then you're like, girl, let's talk shit.
Wait till I tell you what so-and-so said across the room.
Yeah, and you can piece together, have commentary on...
Did you see how sloppy they got?
Yeah, or what's up with that husband? Yes. So that's when you can really let your hair down, take your shoes off, and have a good chat.
And you're helping them clean up the house while you're still talking trash.
Yeah, we don't do that on Patreon, but... that's our behind the scenes. BTF.
That's the behind the scenes. So those episodes are fun, but also our Hottie Hangouts have been really great. I'm consistently surprised that people show up every time.
I know. And I just feel like I learned as much in those. We really want them to be a true round table. Like,
Yeah.
here's a topic. Let's talk.
Let's all share.
Yeah, sometimes we present a little more than other times, but it's not meant to be like the Shaun and Rebecca show. So
no, it's like less formal. We usually just have a guiding topic and then like, okay, let's just talk. Let's chat about it. So,
and sometimes people just have like a burning question. They just want help.
A place to ask.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the goal of it in the beginning was like, can we just find a place to be helpful with one another and connect and ask relevant questions? And we always stay a little longer. I don't think you can kick us out of an open room, but like we'll always talk a little extra. And so some people stick around, some people have to log off, but it's always like a pretty jam-packed hour for the people who are jumping on. And we aim for every second Friday. Sometimes here or there it'll be different, but we plan in advance so that way you can set it aside on your calendar.
Yeah, and it was so cute. Recently, we saw on Instagram that 2 of the designers, we asked kind of where everyone's from, and 2 of them ended up reaching out to each other and connecting unbeknownst to us. They set up a date to go to a showroom, and they live within like an hour of each other. And they're already helping each other and
design besties. They pulled a Rebecca and Shaun.
It's like the most heartwarming thing. So we've had like a few really amazing kind of love notes lately that like one of them I burst into tears. Like,
hi, Amy. that one.
Yeah, it was really sweet. It was like timed well.
It makes a difference for us. But if you've missed out on any, good news is we record them all so you can go back later and watch them. So if you join our Patreon, patreon.com/HYDC, you can still get to those past Hottie Hangouts, but the joy of seeing them in person is what's so exciting. And so in August, we talked about blog and newsletter strategies, which was opening for a lot of people who've never thought about it or worried about taking on too much. So the good news is there's some cool strategies that were brought up.
And it's just a chore, but it's necessary. And in September coming up, we're going to be talking client gift ideas. So I think that's like, get ready for the holidays, even though it's like time to start now.
It's basically, yeah, you have to be planning it now because otherwise you're going to get to December and be going, oh, fuck.
And
like,
your actual holiday gifting is in charge.
Got you a Hickory Farms smoked meats box.
I've ever told you the story that my grandmother sent. So she was like a notorious, like, bad gift giver.
Okay.
She was just kind of out of touch. And my brothers were always like the cool kids, like in their jams and their like Jimmy Z t-shirts and stuff.
Okay.
And one year they got a gift from her, but it didn't arrive. And we got like a message from the mail person like saying your gift is at the post office. And it took my parents like a week or something to get it. I think it was a box of gifts. And so they unwrap and it's like this long tube, gift wrapped like a tube.
Okay.
They each had one. And it was a Hickory Farms giant sausage cut in half.
They each got a half?
A half. And then it was rotten because it was
of course it was.
And like
it's supposed to be completely sealed until you eat it.
Old. So not only did they get
Nana's rotten sausage for Christmas.
Half of a oh, rest in peace.
So now everyone jokes about rotten sausage at Christmas.
Oh, that's like the best, worst gift anyone's ever gotten.
I would want to recreate that for someone as like a gag every couple of years, just have someone unwrap something they think is like a shoebox size and inside is half of a sausage.
Covered in mold.
Like you had to premeditate the rotten sausage gift.
Yeah, you gotta
like
plan it
pre-age it at your own house.
And it probably, who knows, it could have been a year old, like re-gifted as well, because it was like full on grandma.
What the heck?
Yeah.
So if you don't want to be a rotten sausage giver, you're gonna want to tune in to September's Hottie Hangout.
Get it right. And I think we'll also probably talk about client thank you gifts and maybe onboarding stuff. Like I'm hoping to get a lot of ideas.
I want better ideas. I want too many ideas. I can always edit down, but like when it comes to like that last minute, oh God, what am I giving them? I always like cop out because I'm like, okay, well everyone gets a plant because people get plants. Everyone gets a candle because people get candles. And eventually I'm like, do people really need more candles and plants?
I mean, people
some
do.
people don't.
I've seen designers give cute custom candles, and I love that.
I love that journey.
But I always will. I'm like, I can't do that because I'm gonna want to do the most. And now it's
And like how many
$150 candle.
Yeah, like I don't want to be. I'm not quite there yet. But I like the idea.
Unless it's actually like $150 candle with like a foiled label, and
I want nice.
I know. So
full bouge.
We got to think about it.
Okay.
And I want to get all the ideas.
So tune in for that in September's Hottie Hangout.
Please, please.
And on the horizon, we're not quite there yet, but it's coming. And if you already haven't planned, you're like right at the cusp of it. But like Highpoint fall 2023, fastly approaching. We will be at Highpoint October 14th through the 16th this year. We'd love to see you. We always run into this. We get DMs and they're like, I'm going to be there. And we're like, okay, but that's like saying I'm going to Disney World. When can we meet up? And meanwhile, one of you is at the Magic Kingdom and one of you is at the Animal Kingdom.
Right.
And that's Highpoint. So we will try to say, as we get closer, watch our Instagram, make sure you're following along, because that's usually where we can say, hey, we're going to go to the happy hour at this showroom tonight. And you kind of got to be ready to go on the fly.
But this time we do have an official situation.
We do. We're going to be on the hotspot tour.
Yeah, we're hosting a hotspot tour. I'm sure this is already in circulation.
It's also their name, which conveniently works for our name.
It totally
The Hot
is.
and Designers Club Hotspot Tour.
Get hot.
Be hot.
That's hot. So whether I don't know, that we're talking about a future situation from while we record this. Yeah.
Like back in time.
But if you haven't signed up yet and there's still room, please do.
Again, mostly watch the Instagram for that.
Yeah. And this time is our first time going to Highpoint as Hot Young Designers Club officially.
Registered press.
Yeah. So we're not, of course, we're going to be looking for our own businesses, but it's
you're still Studio Plum. I'm still Renstead Interiors. But
yeah,
Hot Young Designers Club is its own unique thing.
And we're prioritizing all things.
So we want to see you.
Yeah.
We don't want to be hosting our own tour with just us. So we want, even if you're going to, come to the showrooms that we're going to with us. Like, we're going to a small amount of tours. It's a minimal tour commitment. It's like a half a day. Come hang out with us. Come talk shit with us.
Yeah.
While we go through these showrooms that you're probably going to anyway.
Or you should. And we'll make it educational and fun, of course. And oh my God, you should just hear Shaun in a showroom. It's like almost actually embarrassing, but
Rebecca has to tell me to stop. Especially because
they can hear you.
Some people can hear things. And then I'm looking at hairstyles that don't belong in certain parts of the country and outfit choices that clearly just were not thought through.
Or fabrics that you hate. Like, I'm like, the designer's right there.
I know.
It's fun. It's just,
like I said, I welcome an opportunity to be unedited and unfiltered. So more the merrier.
Come join us. Okay. Speaking of squad goals.
This was sort of built on the idea of like, I wish someone had told me sooner that I needed to like get this together.
Also, I've just been thinking about it a lot lately. Like, I need to like lock in some of these. I have a couple holes in this list for myself of things that have kind of not worked out in the past, or I got to just step it up and find the person.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what is the list that you would have of who is like your back pocket trade list?
This is sort of like what they always told you, like interns will just steal their designers' contacts. And like, it's true, because how do you find these people when you're in the industry? You have to learn it from other designers. You have to talk to people. You have to source
learn the hard way. You have to go through kiss a lot of frogs.
Yeah. Yes.
Unfortunately.
And the truth we should acknowledge is that some designers and places can be gatekeepers and they don't want to share it, or they're afraid like, oh, if I give you this person, you're going to start using them a lot and then I won't get to use them.
They'll get too busy.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a fine line. Like, yeah, I don't necessarily publicly
Like sometimes
state
clients
all of my trades.
Yeah, like some clients will ask during consults only. And I'm like, well, if we're working together on a project, I'm happy to share that information because then you're locked in. But like I've had a few people book just virtual consults and they're local to me. And they're like, oh, what about this? What about this? What about this? And I'm like, yeah, I can't give out that person's information because they'll only work directly with designers, or I really need to know what kind of project you're doing, but they just want to like mine my own lists. And it's like, no, I am kind of going to gatekeep some of those with like a general consumer, but maybe I don't locally. I talk to other designers. I don't have that problem.
Yeah. And because it's like the fine line of keeping these guys in business and paid and fed.
And feeling like we're valuable people to know. Like, I like being a center of influence. I want them to remember that I've referred 3 other designers to them and that I mentioned their name in good terms.
Because let's be real, there's such thing as a good referral and a bad referral. Like,
yeah,
I was always told, like, if you're getting bad referrals, like, you need to really have good conversations with that referrer.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily their fault. They just don't have the right information.
Like they don't know what you really do all day or how you do
or
it
what
or
you're
why.
looking for, or yeah. So
that's a good etiquette question, actually, of like, what is your best as we're talking to tradespeople, vendors, suppliers, or whoever is like, what does your ideal client look like? What does your ideal project look like? Because they might tell you, hey, you keep referring me to these like one window gigs and I really can't make money until I'm doing 3 to 5 windows. Like,
right. Or people that don't know what they want yet, or that's too, like, I don't just do one bathroom anymore or whatever. Because it changes too. Like, the businesses evolve. Like, maybe they'll do one bathroom for you, but they're not going to do it for a new customer.
Yeah. So if that's like a contractor, I've had contractors who are like, I'll do it as a favor to you, but I don't really want to do those anymore. And that means please don't send me those all year. Like, I want your big projects too.
Yeah. So let's hit it. So we'll go through them as quickly as we can. We're kind of having asking the questions of like, how do you find them? How do you test them? Like, how do you set up a partnership with them? And can you make money? Or should you try?
Yeah. Okay.
So, number 1, let's just start with the big one that most of us need. We need a stable of these.
Stable of stallions?
Stable of stallions, yeah. Of contractors? Yes.
Yes. Yeah. It's taken me some time. I feel like I vet as much as I can. If you guys have looked through our Working with General Contractors guide in our shop, there's a lot you can do to sort of like streamline that, but also just like asking other designers. I find a lot of them from
clients even.
Clients will say like, oh, we've had a really great one. And I'm like, okay, tell me who it is. And I've worked with one repeat one who was like the client found them originally. And I was like, oh, this is a great one. Like, we're going to keep him in the short list.
It's in the stable.
It's in the stable. He's in the stable now, but it's still hit or miss. Like, I have some that I'm like, oh, the quality is good, but the personality's not great. But like, if you can get the job done, I would probably keep you around. Like,
or they'll do smaller jobs, so they
kind of don't have a choice.
Yeah.
Edge on the market. Yeah.
So I feel like I'm still kind of perfecting, I feel like, my list, but I do think having like a small, medium, large.
Yeah.
At least.
From chucking a truck to like the big developer has their own team of project management. Like,
even if you don't have the projects for that yet, but that's what you want to do. Like, if your goal is to do new builds, probably start like going to, like, we have like a NARI group here that's.
Can you spell that out for us?
Damn it.
You knew I was going to ask you that. I don't know. I don't remember. North American?
Renovation industry.
And it's Nari.
I think so. Yeah.
And so, yeah, I didn't know about this till you said it. But yeah, like go to their meetings.
So we have a pretty active group, and it's mostly contractors, tradespeople like tile installers or whatever.
Yeah.
And designers. So
I feel like that'd be a good solid, can you come out to look at this job or bid this work?
Or NKBA.
Yeah, exactly. Like get talking to them. Your question you said like, oh, how can we make or should we make or whatever about making money off of them? I just don't. I don't feel good about that. Like, if you want me to refer my design clients to you as the contractor have to pay me for them, like a finder's fee or like a referral fee. I don't love it. It just feels weird. And this comes up in the threads a lot, just to keep it brief. But the idea of like, I bring good money to these contractors and then they treat me, whatever. I'm like, okay, well, they're treating you poorly. Don't work with them. But like, if they're doing a solid job for you and they're being great with your clients, like, isn't that what you want? Like,
yeah.
Do you need to also be making money off of them? Like, they're making money, you're making money, the client is happy.
I've heard there's some weird ethical things with making money off of it that I don't totally understand, and I don't really want to get into it, but
it feels like an ick to me personally. So that's why I'm like,
because it's so expensive, like tacking, like
adding on a referral fee or something feels like, why wouldn't I want them to instead like maybe overlook a change order or something, or just be really amenable to the client and make my life easy and also be forgiving with me. Like maybe they pay it back in another way that's non-monetary. And maybe they'll just send me a really nice rotten sausage at the end of the year.
Oh, maybe a halvesy. You cut it out. Can you cut it in half 3 weeks ago?
Maybe they'll just be more kind in other ways. And that's just like the karma. I want to believe in the karma of the universe. And I don't really believe that I necessarily if I like working with them and I want to work with them, I don't know that I'm going to ask them to give me a fee or something.
No.
But I know there are some designers who do.
So yeah, if you guys have things that work and different states, I don't know. There's just, we're in the Sue Happy West. So
yeehaw.
Okay. So the contractor, obviously that's like, kind of, if you have a great contractor and the project warrants it, then all of these other, not all of them, but a lot of these other trades, you don't need to worry about. But we find it helpful. Sometimes you just need a go-to to fix a problem.
Yeah.
So like a finish carpenter.
Yeah, because it's not like if for a decor job.
Yeah, or you just want to add some paneling to a wall or
casing details or something.
Like I have a client right now that the last owner just loved some quarter round.
Yeehaw.
So
like 14 trim pieces everywhere.
Oh my God. Just full exposed nails and raw unfinished edges. Like it's not good. So
just cover it with some quarter round.
But then there's the quarter round has unfinished. They just
round has quarter round.
It needs it. So yeah, so I need a finished carpenter on that project just to bring that home.
Like your full contractors aren't coming in and they're like, yeah, sure, like cool story, Jan. Like
let me just fix all these.
They don't want to do
doorways.
that. You need like that kind of person to do it, and then
that isn't a handyman because not all handymen are
handy people. I think they prefer handy people.
You're right.
No, I
feel like overall handy, like that just feels so 1950s.
Well, not handsy.
I know, but doesn't it still feel like a weird term? Like
you're handy. You work with your hands. Like you're handy. Good to have around. Great in a pinch. Like
it just feels like they should be like from the 1950s.
Well, what else? What other term would you use?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know that there's a better word. So it does. You want to try to cancel handyman?
No, it's just like infantilizing. Like
he's handy.
Handy. But some of them are very well rounded.
Yeah, some of them are practically contractors.
They could be. And
some of them are better than some of the contractors that are out there. But a good handyman sometimes we'll be able to do like drywall patch and repair, or, they'll be able to handle some of your trim work or other details without it getting crazy.
I mean, a good handyman, again, could
They might be your finish carpenter.
take off, like combine a lot of these. But not all are created equal.
But let's also say that, like, for clients, they need to be licensed. Like, they need, unfortunately, like in my own home, I have a handyman who I trust who is not licensed. But I trust him and I know what he's going to do, and I don't push him past his boundaries. And he knows when to tell me something is beyond his skill set.
And he's kind of done you dirty a little bit.
Yes. I feel like a lot of handymen do for a lot of people.
And it's one thing if it's your own house, but like if some of the shenanigans happen for a client, you'd feel like it's
that's where like it's mostly like I'll refer in that person, but they are they're working directly with the client, their contract, their agreement, their payments. That's all through. It's not through me at all. I don't want to be looped in.
But that's just the legal. That does not help the emotional. Like,
oh yeah, I still have to be like, I'm so sorry, this guy came into your house and now it's not the way you wanted, and you got to get someone else. Like,
and now
I look like the enemy, the villain.
So yeah, handyman, a good handy person is definitely on my list, my lookout list. I have not found the one.
And sometimes you cycle through for a while.
Maybe it's a few. Kind of could be under this, but there's also specific professional art installers.
Yes.
I haven't used. Claire has one that she uses all the time, and I will use him if and when the opportunity comes up, and he'll just knock out a gallery wall.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love if I don't have to do it and direct it all as heavily.
Right.
But he's also not just an art installer. Isn't he like an art consultant also?
He is.
Like he has an eye for it.
I actually have used him before. He's also hung like fine art. I was like part of a project where it was actually like a public space, and he put like a lock on the art.
Oh yeah. So they can't be lifted. Like, yeah.
So there's lots of different fancy things they can do. Like, you don't want somebody to just put a fucking monkey hook in a wall and a $20,000 painting.
I know. Because some of these like true art installers are also focused on like exhibition setup. So they know what the right process is, the light exposures, like there's a whole skill level of like technicality level versus like a handyman art installer is like, just tell me where you want it. I'll measure it out. I'll get it on the wall for you. And then there's the like, this is important art. This needs to be insured properly. Like, we need this to be up on the wall the best way possible.
Which I kind of like tagged in the idea of a gallerist as well. There's a gallery in town that they reach out to designers. I want to work on a project with them where you can kind of assign them something and they'll find fine art, and they'll probably have the art installer as part of that as well.
Like I don't know anything about large scale photography art, but the client described wanting this shot that's like 6 feet wide by 4 feet high. Help me find it.
Yeah, or like I want to support local artists, which is a big thing here in Sacramento. And I don't know every emerging new artist. I'm not actually hot.
I can barely remember the fabric I used in a project, so let alone let me help you
it's
find.
So subjective, and I get like really like tied in knots around art sometimes.
Yeah, because I need to know how serious people take their art. I really need to know.
I feel like it's always, I really want this to mean something to me. I'm like, oh God. I want it to mean something to them too, but like at that stage in the project, like, I don't know if I'm the one.
But my favorite is when someone says that, and then you're like, okay, great. So how much are you thinking of for this piece? And they're like $100. And you're like, what the fuck?
Well, something I've done a couple times is, okay, I love that journey for you. Like, truly, I want you to be able to stumble upon something on your next trip to Europe. Mm-hmm. But in the meantime, like, we don't have anything on the horizon, and that's a big ass blank wall. So let's just get something not
non-offensive,
cheap, but like we like it, but it's placeholder. And
When
And
the right piece comes along.
then you know exactly what you want to be there, what size it should be, the
I like
kind of the
that.
color scheme, and it's like kind of reframing it. Waka waka. And they totally accept it. And then they can just like put the placeholder up and move on and probably never replace it.
Yeah.
But
no, they'll probably leave it because most people are gonna, if they've already waited this long into their lives to start collecting art, it's probably too late.
or huge art. I don't know. I mean, some of these clients that I've done it with, they probably will
Maybe.
someday, but it's going to be a huge, like, I would just put a 30 by 50 piece up over that console. Like, that's going to be a chunk of change.
And it's gonna be there a while.
So
I don't think you can make money. Well,
oh yeah,
galleries maybe. I don't make anything off of finished carpenters, handymen, like those types of people. But maybe on an art sale, they may offer a trade pricing. Like for big art,
I think they do.
they may offer a commission to you because you help bring that client in. Like it's worth asking. Like, do you have a commission structure? Do you have a referral structure? Do you offer a discount on it if you sell it to me? Does it matter? There's one near me that does like referral or commission. They don't like, I'm not the salesperson. Like they're not reselling it through my license tax free to me, but they will sell it to the client and then give me a commission for bringing it in.
Yeah.
Because some of these, like, art's such a racket.
If there's a markup, you should ask.
I believe in art. I believe in artists. I believe in the creativity of it. But a lot of fine art,
it's subjective.
is very subjective. And like, especially like fine quality prints or fine quality like photographers, like they're not just issuing one of one most of the time. So like some of this art is meant to be reproduced, which means that there's usually a healthy margin where they can negotiate a little bit and afford to pay me a commission versus like my handyman who I feel like my handyman always undercharges for everything.
And it's a service, which is different. So yeah, if they're marking up a product, there's probably room in there somewhere
to give me something. If I'm helping them sell tens of thousands of dollars of art, like you don't got nothing for me?
And photograph it and give them something beautiful to post on Instagram. Hello. Okay, so tile installer.
Tile guy?
Tile guy.
A mason, do you mean like a tile guy or like a proper mason? Like licensed mason?
I mean, probably both, but I'm just thinking tile guy.
Okay.
Because I've needed a tile guy I'm just doing the fireplace in this living room that I'm designing.
Kind of on that line of a handyman, but hopefully like someone who knows tile is a very specific skill set.
Especially because we're probably speccing something that's going to piss them off.
So, as I always say, we haven't done our job if the tile guy likes you. So
they have to at least have the skills to back up their anger.
I feel that, yeah. Especially if it's like, we're doing a bathroom refresh as part of this decorating project. We're changing the backsplash. I need a guy who's going to come in and just do that. Like, okay.
Yeah.
You don't need the whole general contractor, but you want to get rid of the ugly mosaic glass tile.
Yeah. So I think it's good to just have one and know what it is. Yeah. I don't think any of the direct service providers really I mark up.
No. Are we bad for that? Are we like not?
I don't know.
Are we good people or bad people because we don't want to do that?
That's kind of the California contracting laws too, right?
Yeah. If I manage the contract and the payment for anything in excess of $500 in the state of California, I'm acting as a general contractor according to the state, which not being a general contractor means I'm violating that law. So it's just easier to just not manage it. And also everything's so freaking expensive that like what isn't $500 or more?
And again, like I don't want to like cut into their costs. I'd rather them answer my calls and like do me a solid when I need one.
Yes, like make time for my client.
Yeah.
So that might just be, maybe we're victims of our location and the laws.
Okay, a must-have would be a good workroom.
Like a window treatment workroom?
Yeah, I think. My window treatment workroom also will do bench cushions.
Yeah, like
and like pillows
light
for me.
upholstery, as mine says. She's like pillows, I got you. Maybe a bench. I think she'll also do like if it's an easy headboard, where like
Oh.
she could do that, like, like recovering it from the front and it's just got like a black fabric or something. Like she doesn't want to get into like
I don't think mine would have the
full-
space to like, and she
It could
wouldn't
be
want to
hard.
deliver and stuff. Something big, but
Yeah.
here's mine. And since I found her, okay. So
I found her.
Since Shaun found her 500 miles away.
I chased her across the country.
Well, you had a project up here, and we
Yes.
were like, we just don't have a good window treatment person.
And I was like, that's lies.
You're like, that's impossible.
Liza Minnelli lies. Like,
But I asked and asked and asked, and so you went like a deep dive on Yelp.
and there's like a Luann Nagara would be mad at me right now because I can't remember the name of it, but it's like the Window Treatment Workroom People of America list, like a formal organization. And your workroom's registration had lapsed, but she was listed as a lapsed member. And I was like, I'm going to find this woman.
And like any good workroom, they have no social media presence or like they're just doing the work.
Oh yeah. They just have their heads down and they get referred or word of mouth business. And so they're not interested in being publicly listed. They don't want people calling them.
But it kind of looked like an inactive business. So one morning, and I needed one. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to DB. I'm just going to go drive by this random warehouse.
Because I got you an address off of like Google or something.
Yeah. And the roll up door happened to be open and she was so shocked. Like it was.
Who are you?
Like, what?
Why are you after my family?
What are you saying? Because it's not a place you drop in.
You want to know where I think I found her? Okay, guys, this is my secret from when this is my secret way of finding people from when I worked in wealth management and banking is California's business entity search function. So the state of California allows you to search business entity names and it shows you their business registration information, like who the owner is and their address. So if they have like their lawyer as their agent, then it's going to be their lawyer's office or their CPA's office, which is what most larger companies and people do. But a lot of small businesses, it's their home or it's their office address, like their shop,
Right.
So it's easier to find people that way. But this is all part of public records. It's not a secret. Like you can find people that way.
Yeah, that's still some PI shit though.
I'm just letting you know.
So, but that tip would work for any of these.
But you already had to know that what she was doing and where she was in order to find her. And the window treatment workroom database was a good place to start. And I actually called there was another company listed out here by you guys. And they did mostly like blinds and shutters. And she said, oh, you know who you want to talk to and then it's who you got mentioned.
Okay. So yeah, that was a great find. And so the great thing about having a strong partner is she's helped me learn more about custom drapery and window treatments.
And like pricing and selling, construction method.
Yeah, like we'll brainstorm some things together if it's a tricky situation. She goes out and measures herself. Like she's very yeah, she's so like, I don't trust anyone else.
Like she goes to every measure and every install.
Yeah.
Which is great. And
she has her own installer. So that's like, it's a separate line item, but it's part of her service.
So like you could separate, like there are people out there who just do measuring and installing on behalf of the workrooms.
Which I definitely have that too, because there are some situations where I'm just doing.
Like you guys do Graber, which isn't through your workroom. That's through you guys, which you need the measurements accurate and the installing done by someone else, even if you order through Graber.
I had a random cabinet guy drop in the other day and he's like, we're considered corporate custom, which I thought that was like a really good way of describing it.
Corporate custom.
So like for cabinets, for instance, it's like what the big cabinet companies that you can custom, but it's like on the corporate level versus like.
And that would be like Graber's corporate custom.
Corporate custom windows versus like your local guy.
I feel actually, yeah, that's actually a nice way of looking at it because your workroom is truly custom.
Like they'll do anything and can, but corporate custom, there's some like
there's
limitations.
scalability, what they'll do. Like I get it. It's different for them to run it effectively.
Like the cost may be less, but I don't know. There's different things.
How did you find your measurer installer?
How did I find him? Someone referred him to me. I actually don't remember.
Okay. But someone said it, but who knows how. But like, I think that's how most of us find them is just asking around. Like my workroom, it's not an in-house installer for her, my window treatment workroom. And I said, will he do other stuff? And she's like, yeah, like he doesn't just do my stuff. I can't keep him that busy. So I was like, is it bad if I have him install things like blinds, And she's like, no, do that. Cause I don't do that. I don't want to do it. I'm like, oh, okay. Like I kind of just like tested the waters and I'm like, I kind of preface it sometimes like with the whole, like, totally feel free to say no. I completely understand. Would your installer do stuff like this? And she's like, yeah. Like, go ahead. Like,
yeah, get permission.
And I think that's the fair thing to do. And just ask people like, if not, is there somewhere else you would redirect me? Like, this is just how we got to build the list. It's like, be humble, accept no, move on.
Yeah, just be curious. Yeah, and he actually also, this guy particularly also would measure a house for me.
Like a floor plan?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so like measurements.
Because he'll just like, we'll measure shit.
Numbers are numbers.
Yeah.
All right.
Because I wouldn't necessarily use him to install like truly custom drapery per se.
Okay.
Like I'd rather go through the workroom who's like, because she'll go and make adjustments and stuff. Like she'll take it back to the machine.
Yeah. Like if the like when they install the draperies and stuff and you watch them like fiddle with the placement of the brackets because the floor isn't even in an old house and you're like, this is an art. Like,
yeah. And
wow. Like it's so good.
My regular, like the measure installer guy that I'm talking about, he wouldn't really know maybe what exactly the art part of it is.
Yeah. But he's going to clip in those blinds.
He'll get the motorization working. Yeah.
Like get them all paired, done. But like
he'll call customer service if something's off. Yeah. So he's been great.
I like that. Who's next?
Oh, wait. I
Oh,
can make money off the installation of the ones that go through the workroom because it's kind of bundled into her costs.
Yeah, like versus corporate custom stuff. Like, that's how my workroom works. Like, I do charge for if it's my fabric selections, I'm charging more for those fabric selections to make money on the fabrics.
I definitely make money off the window treatments, like the product.
I usually
a lot.
I usually let her select and specify like the liner. Like I don't care. I don't care. Some people will care, but I don't need to make money on the liner. I don't care.
Oh, I just mark it all up.
Like the whole number gets marked up, but like I'm not ordering lining fabric. Like
no, and I just do my hardware through her too for those projects, even though I could break it off.
Because then she's also speccing the measurements and all the details. So I feel like, no, she did the legwork for this. Like if she makes money off of it, and I'm not convinced mine really marks up very much on her stuff because I've looked at some of them and I'm like, I don't think she really marked up the hardware on this that much, but maybe she's getting a better price than what I see.
I will say window treatments have stayed so old school that the markup has stayed baked in.
Yeah, like I think she could make more off of the product.
But like, a lot of other companies have gone more public or like internet savvy, so that just keeps making it harder and harder.
Yeah. Like a shade store. You look at shade store, you're like, holy shit. Like,
but no one's making money off that but the shade store. I mean, designers kind of can, but not
really.
50%. Yeah.
No, I make more margin, but I do have more legwork and like contact with my workroom because I need to be involved and it's not like a one-stop thing. I have to have a couple conversations, collect an estimate and a bid, pick the items, but I also have a ton of creative freedom.
Yeah, and she'll like text me like, is this what you're thinking? Like,
and I'm not going to get that somewhere.
No. Yeah. So anyway, definitely
make that
that happen. cabinet maker.
I know this one's an up and a down, upsy downsy, as we like to say. Like, you kind of make money, but not really. Like, there are designers who are making money off of their cabinet makers. Some aren't. I think you need the range. Like, I've referred in quite a few cabinet makers into projects where the contractor's like, I don't really have a custom person that I think is a fit for this. Do you have someone? Yeah, I'll bring them in, whatever. But I don't really make anything off of that. And I know everyone, look, if you're all yelling into your speakers telling us about it, we hear you, but we're just not, that's not where we're at.
Also, though, everyone's brains work differently. Like, I just don't want a lot of heavy responsibility on me for some of that super detailed stuff.
Yeah, and like a recent job, the cabinet guy was definitely he has the technical skills to build it, like the trade skills to build cabinetry, but he doesn't really have the software and other skills to make sure the drawings are reflective. Like, he knows what you're saying, but we purposely had to go through and we're like, why don't we refer to our drawings? And then he can add his notes on top of that stuff. But we need to make sure that there's a contract document. And I said that because he was drawing on graph paper. And I'm like, I hear this. I love that this is old school enough that you guys did this. But if something goes wrong, this graph paper where we can't even read the notes on it is not a good document to refer to.
No.
Not when we're doing a whole kitchen and 3 bathrooms.
Oh my God.
No. So my drawings were the start of the shop drawings, and then he added other things to them that we then literally client was manually initialing the pages because he just didn't have that. And that was more just my cover my ass. I don't want anyone coming back later saying that's not the cabinet we asked for. So
yeah, and so you want all of that.
I wanted all of that out there. But I think you do need the technical cabinet maker who's got all the software and the CNC machines and they know what they're doing. And then you got the guy who kind of works in his own garage or his own little shop. And
he could make you a built-in bench, a
bankhead
or
a built-in bookcase or something. You kind of need those guys who are at the small scale. You need a one little guy and then the big guy that you trust locally.
Yeah, and I have one guy who I can really kind of get wacky with, but
he can get wacky right back
or drop off the face of the earth. So he'll come back, but you just never know when.
You don't know when.
Yeah, it's kind of a problem.
It's a thing.
But sometimes
he's an artiste.
I just can't quit him.
But they are hard to find, and that's the other part of it. Is some of them aren't listed in registered places.
It's sort of a dying trade.
Also that, and then it's also I found all of mine through word of mouth. So I do constantly ask people oh, that job looked great. Other designers, that project looked really great. Did you enjoy working with the cabinet maker? No. Okay. Can you tell me their name so I can avoid it?
Blacklist.
Tell me who to avoid. And I will make sure not to call them. Or if they're brought in for a job, I'm probably going to ask for another quote from someone else. And there's different skill and finish quality levels.
Yeah, and then I know a lot of designers have that corporate custom kind of program that they've bought into. And
a stocking dealer for...
Yeah, they're a kind of their own little showroom, which totally works for some people. I don't want to learn the lines in that much detail. So I have another designer that in the past, when that seems like a good fit, I've kind of taken the job to her and she subs out the cabinet part. And I do make a little money. She has
because she's the real warranty holder / manager of the service for that.
And I get 15% back from her.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Especially on a kit
and she goes and does all the measurements.
40 grand on cabinets and stuff.
She knows the lines inside and out, and there's 5 million SKUs and things.
No, thank you.
And if you want that, then we got to go up to this level and this whole different collection. I know. So
I don't want it.
I don't.
That's why, and that's why I think most of my contractors are I'd rather just go custom because then I don't have limitations and I can do it faster and on time, but it doesn't always work with the budget. So, make decisions.
So that's why you kind of got to have your list. Okay.
Got a little range. Okay. Done.
Similarly, upholsterer.
Yeah, like if your workroom, your window treatment workroom, you've moved past light upholstery.
Yeah, like furniture.
Yes. I think you need a few levels of those too. You need the guy who's like, hey, I'm just trying to build like an ottoman. Like I want a round ottoman that's this
I'm just like
diameter.
recovering some dining chair seat cushions.
Exactly. Yeah. Like I've got some vintage pieces, or the client wants to rework this bench. I think it's a great bench. Can we just recover it? Like,
so I have like a fantasy unicorn hunt that I feel like somebody should do this.
okay.
And I know there are places that do, but here, somebody that does wood repair and finishing,
like restoration,
along with upholstery for things like dining chairs or vintage chairs with wood frames, like exposed frames.
My upholsterer has a wood restoration, refinishing guy who comes to his shop if there's pieces there.
But you're in LA, so like that's
we're covered in it. We're covered. Like y'all, I don't think people talk about it enough, but like LA is like an upholstery paradise.
Yeah.
Like it was a main hub for a lot of textile manufacturing post World War II. Like textile and fashion for a long time, especially because it was one of the first areas to get a lot of trade commerce with Asia, has just
the district is huge. Yeah.
Huge access. Also like a really big audience of clientele that needed a lot of that at one point in time. It's like a huge
market.
And a lot of it stuck around, but it is still sort of like as manufacturing moves overseas, it stopped, but there's still like completely bespoke upholstery shops and woodworking where they're like, it doesn't just have to be a sofa. We'll make you a whole piece of furniture because the skills we use to build frames and pieces for sofas, like we can do this. But I think you need like the entry level guy and then the restorer guy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I just need to work a little bit harder on making this happen.
Don't make me do it. My FBI, Liam Neeson background check people.
Yeah, because I've talked to a few and they're like, they don't do the wood part, or the wood guys don't want to touch the upholstery, which I understand. But either they need to like get in cahoots.
But hello, furniture has both. So like,
yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. And a good upholstery company will just...
They'll handle it.
And a bad upholstery job is no bueno.
Yeah. I have been wanting more and more the ability to have access to like complete custom. So I think it's a wise strategy to seek it out.
How do you make money off of it? You definitely can, as well as this is the 100% way of how you don't get shopped, because you can't. They can't. It doesn't exist.
All the details, all the fine tuning, the foam, the fill, the welt, the fabric, the back of this sofa just needs to be rounded.
You're making it one of a kind.
Truly custom, not just made to order. So you need that person.
Yes. So I guess we're talking about a few different things, like a reupholsterer.
Yeah.
Versus a
bespoke furniture maker.
Making you a sofa, which I actually am working with somebody in LA to do that. But also, like, we have a company that's semi-custom that we order from, and they're out of Ohio.
Yeah.
But that's for a catalog of furniture, basically. That's a semi-custom that we can choose some things, but...
Yeah.
But I'm not giving them an old vintage chair to recover.
Exactly. And you can't fully customize those pieces. You can make adjustments and changes within reason and within their decisions, but like a full bespoke custom furniture
Yeah, so I think we're talking about a local upholsterer
who will like build a frame, make the piece,
or reupholster something that is either the client's owned or
you got something cool,
like a vintage thing. Okay, so can you make money off of that? If it's a full custom piece, yes.
Oh my God, a lot.
If
like
it just depends, though. Like if you buy something from a vintage dealer and you spend $2,000 on it, and now you got to go get fabric and have it all redone. Like, I mean, just whatever the market will allow, basically.
I know. I keep watching all the adventures of everyone finding like Baker sofas where I'm like, oh yeah, rebuilding that frame would already cost more. So it's worth investing in a really great fabric and doing it. But it also is still expensive. And people forget that. Like, I'm sorry.
You've seen my living room. It's full
I
of
know,
ugly ass
your
shit.
menagerie. But you have to like, not every client is going to pay for that. Like they could find something new at or lower than that price. And they'd have to really love that frame that it's on. Like a new Baker piece is obviously more expensive. But
I guess. I'll
if
be
they just love
no.
the size and the shape and the whatever, you can get it cheaper somewhere else probably.
My Baker chairs, when I get them reupholstered, I'll be $4, $5, $6, $7. I'll be about $700-800 in costs for each one. And that's a chair and an ottoman. So I could sell them for probably 15. I could double that pretty easily.
Yeah. That feels fair.
Depending on the fabric.
But like a whole sofa sometimes is not worth. That's, 16 yards in or something. Like, right. And how bougie you want the fabric to be. Pretty bougie.
Yep.
So yeah, you can make money off of it though. And you should make money.
You got to work the system. So don't buy, you got to buy, like if you're doing vintage, you got to buy low, sell high.
Buy low, sell high.
Yeah.
What am I bid?
Like some of these people that are trying on Facebook Marketplace, I'm like, no. Like that thing is trash. I can see your staple gun.
Like,
yeah, no one's wanting that.
No, I have a hard time getting on board with that because I see it and it's valuable and there's a market for it and there are people who want it, but it's not really for our design clients. It's not really the quality level that I would put in like this whole like.
Some of it is. I mean, I have like a fantasy side business, side hustle where I just.
Another one?
Get a warehouse.
What?
And have this bespoke. So I have all the vintage pieces in my little warehouse. I have a mini version of this right now. I just don't have any clients for it. Have all the vintage that I'm hoarding. I got really cheap upholstery, like the pieces, like I have a sofa I got for free.
Yeah.
It's so cool and horrible.
Yeah.
It needs like full new foam and fabric and everything. So I could have all these like ugly ducklings in the warehouse, and then the clients could, like, not a client, like a person could just come shop the frame.
I love this. Let's reupholster it. And you're like, great,
here's
give
all
me
the fabric
money.
options, and I'm just going to handle it for you. It's going to cost money. Like,
yeah, it's not cheap.
No, it's not cheap, but it's done and cool and custom.
Okay. It's like your island of misfit toys.
Yeah.
But it's upholstery. Island of misfit upholstery.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't need another business.
It's another journey for a different time. Up next.
Everyone needs a
wallpaper installer.
I mean, are you even a designer in 2023 if you can't get wallpaper installed?
You need it. Like you have to have it. And you need to really get references on skill and ability, because there are quite a few out there who are just like, oh, I know everyone wants wallpaper and now I'm suddenly a wallpaper installer, but they lack the skill to work with materials. Like these are also notoriously hard to find. It's like hunting unicorns of like.
We have a few good ones here, actually, surprisingly. I have a couple great ones.
How'd you get all their names? Like other designers or like?
Other designers. Actually, one of them was from a client. Or Instagram, actually. One of them I found on Instagram.
That's a new rarity, yeah. Some of them are
probably tagged in a designer, let's be real.
Yeah,
I probably...
That's how I found my window treatment workroom.
Yeah.
Another designer had tagged her and I was like, wait a minute. She's near me. And I was just so excited. So I feel like with wallpaper, they really need to demonstrate their ability, and they also cannot be opposed to like collecting information from you. They should, like, to vet them, they should be asking for like pictures, maybe even a site visit. They want to inspect the paper or make sure that you sent the details for the paper, like a link to it.
Yeah, I would send the link.
They want to know, like, how is this made? What's it made of? What are the inks like? Did you check the dye lots? Like, there's so much to ask, and I really want them.
How much does this cost? Like, how big of a risk am I taking?
Yeah, because they should know that, because otherwise they're like, oh, I could do this. And then they're like, I have fucked up a whole roll. And you're like, okay, that'll be $1,000. Thanks. Like, they need to be able to like guarantee the level of workmanship. So
I know.
You've had some run-ins.
Yeah,
I know.
I don't know. Did I tell it on this podcast where
It was a BTS.
Yeah,
Patreon
he's a
one.
good installer. He's actually like a second generation installer. And he installed, I had 2 different wallpapers in 2 different rooms, and
He flipped them. That's a partially.
It was partially my fault because he transposed them on the
like the work order.
Work on his proposals. So always check everything.
Double check.
Like he had it all right except for the names of the wallpaper. So months later when he went to install, he just didn't look at my picture.
His paperwork.
He didn't look at my drawings anymore. He just did it. So
now you're making me want to go to like.
That was costly for both of us.
Go to job sites and tape up the paper.
Yeah.
Like
it was out of town or I probably would have stopped in.
Hi, client, I'm mailing this to you. You need to tape this up in the room it goes in and say this paper here. And like
yeah, it was.
It's like the whole thing. Tell the doctor which leg to amputate. Like,
yeah, you not Sharpie your leg.
Not here. Like,
I wouldn't even have thought that was possible.
You've never had that problem before, and you just learn as you go. But
so we split. So on that particular situation, we split the cost of the new paper at cost, and he ate his installation day, which sucked for him because he was also he drove 2 hours to go to it. So
yeah, he lost time on it too. But so did you. Lost money. You lost money. He lost paid time,
and that was the straw that broke that client's back.
Yeah, they were definitely like over it. So I feel like it's hard. You test it. You might.
I would definitely use him again. Like it wasn't him being unprofessional. It was just like, okay, now I know.
He has the skill to do that job.
Yeah,
but you've got to double check everything. You can. I don't charge for the installation because again, it's like charging for a contractor. But I do make money off the wallpaper. So
yeah,
try to build in some money into that.
And like you're always trying to make something amazing, and wallpaper will definitely do that.
You'll make it amazing.
Okay, electrician.
Need a couple.
Yeah.
You need like hey, we want to change this single. We want 2 sconces next to this vanity. We want whatever. Like I had a set of built-ins for a furnishing client. And the built-ins were going in and we're like, okay, you're going to need some electricians to come in because there's picture lights above these built-ins that are going to get built. And I can just pass along 2 to 3 names. I always try to do like 2 to 3 just so it's like I'm not guiding you to the only name of like liability. Like here's a few names. Yeah, like here's a few names, call around. And then it's up to the client. Like you pick who you like. You get the quotes from who you like.
Yeah, so like your contractor will have them their own for their big jobs, but
I also asked those contractors, will this plumber did a really nice job. Will they do smaller projects? And they'll tell me like, no, they really only want to do like big projects, rough in, I handle whatever. Or same thing with electricians. Like, oh, will they come out to that? No, they just want the construction side. They don't want to handle like one-off stuff from clients. So,
but you definitely need, just a light fixture. Or I recently had a banquette custom built that they wanted power in it,
for charging,
a cafe.
Okay, like a Starbucks, yeah.
Yeah, but he came before, he prepped it, so that when the cabinet guy installed, the
rough-in was already there.
Yeah, and then he came in later.
And that's what you want. Like you want someone who's like, okay, I'm going to tell them what we're doing for this project. They're going to handle it. It's done.
And somebody that knows how to use email and can answer the phone and use a calendar. And so he, like that guy, I'm like, oh yeah, he'll just show up when he says.
I know. Versus this is a guy who can do electrical. No, we want
we just need to hit a target. Like, can you show up in the next 2 weeks to do this chandelier?
I don't play that whole I'll let you know when I can make it. Like, no, you need to tell me what day you can commit to be there. Like,
annoying. Same. So electrician definitely I do not mess with marking them up.
I don't touch that.
Same with a painter. I feel like
I don't make anything.
I feel like painters and electricians are similar breeds.
Yeah. But I spend time like I make sure they have a paint schedule. If it is like a refresh, like furnishing only decor project, and it's like we're just painting the living room and the trim, I make sure they have a paint schedule and I describe it all. And it's like, it's Sherwin-Williams, whatever, this sheen, this finish on this stuff, this on the walls. Like they have a schedule.
Yeah.
So they're like, please don't F this up. Like,
Yeah.
here it is. You charge the client. This is the approved colors. You need a couple of those.
Yeah. And people that can deal with like tricky things and cabinets. Like if you want somebody to repaint cabinets,
Yeah,
that's a different maybe person.
My cabinet finisher painter is different than like my room painter person.
Yeah.
Like the cabinet finisher will do staining and like enamel coats and like super fine finishes.
Yeah.
My painters are mostly just like, you want me to brush it, roll it, or spray it? And where? Like, tell me where to point the gun. Like, they just want to go. So, but everyone needs those.
I think really important is having, unless you're just like, or maybe you have a team of people, but like a draftsperson and or an engineer.
I think it's both. Because I'm not working on gigantic jobs. So maybe we should connect this to another one, which is like, it'd be great if you had a couple go-to architects who could handle various scales of jobs. Because I have one who's like, I'm only doing jobs greater than 250,000. I have one who's like, oh, no, I'll do stuff that's less than that. That's fine. And then I have the like draftsman who's like, hey, we're just adding a master suite on this house. We need to get this up a permit set for this. And then he usually refers in his engineer, but it'd be good if you had like, here's a few local engineers who would create the engineered, signed, sealed, calculated set that goes with that permit document.
Yeah, I feel like you kind of need, in my experience so far, like a mix. So I have a draftsperson that I've been working with the last year. She's back east and she just makes my chief architect drawings legible in NKPA standards.
Yeah.
And she'll do like, I want to like get in there, do the floor plans, like paint the walls, like visualize it for me and my client to sell the vision.
Yeah. And then she puts the technical piece.
I might have nudged that window over. Like, I don't want to put all the elevations together. Like, I can, but it's not my zone of genius and I don't want to. So she's doing those for me, but she doesn't do any kind of engineering or anything.
Yeah.
So if there is a need for that, then sometimes I've had to bring that in independently. But then there's like architect engineers that they just like
I know. I don't want to mess with it. But also, again, depending on your municipality, it's different because I know there are some counties where it's like, just get a little sketchy together, walk it into the desk.
Technically, you could do that in Sacramento. Yeah.
You can. But what I found for a lot of counties, especially in California now, is that they just want they want Title 24 reports and they want proper plumbing and electrical plans. And I'm sorry, like there is a limit on what I'm going to do. My architect will do that. His team will do that. But like my draftsman, there's some limitations sometimes.
Or
not
like
always,
if you do one thing, it triggers the need for a new code.
Right. Like one of them is like, for where I'm at, most of them are, if you touch a window or door location that like on the exterior, like it's going to change the exterior in any way, they now want exterior elevations. And then if it affects more than one wall, then they want all the walls of the house with exterior elevations. And you're like, oh, fuck me. Like, but that design sometimes you're just like, we got to do it. Like, I'm not going to leave that window alone because it messes everything up.
Yeah. So just ask around. I mean, that may be like on a need to have basis, but
my main guy I found from a contractor. I was like, I need someone who can do drawing sets. Do you have someone you've worked with before who would do a permit set for something? And then my other one, I asked another designer. I was like, my one guy is like completely busy and inundated all the time. Do you have anybody? And he's more expensive, but he's not an architect, but he will draft it. And he has a couple engineers he'll send plans out to get sign off.
Yeah, and the woman that I've been using, I found her through the chief architect website, I believe.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah. So, see, I could do some
You can do
internal
your own
investigation
Liam
as well.
Neeson FBI.
Okay, we got to move quick. We're getting long. So, we have some professional services that we don't probably need to go too into detail with.
Or just
Definitely, these
run
are
'em.
people we pay, I think would be the difference, right?
Yeah. This is your squad. This is your tight, like,
It's like your internal
my
team squad. Yeah.
They're two different things, and you need both a bookkeeper and a CPA.
Yeah. One keeps your book straight.
The
and,
other gets your total financial life together.
and taxes.
And taxes and like strategy and goal keeping and hopefully bigger picture reporting.
This is a huge need of mine, and I have some deadlines internally for myself this month.
You got to have a good one, and you'll probably churn and burn through a few over the course of your career because they are not all meant to, as you grow and you scale your business, they can't keep up.
Yeah.
Been there, done that.
Or I'm just like, tired of fighting myself and them. So an attorney.
Yes. For contracts, but also to
Yeah.
like bounce things when stuff gets a little dicey. Like, hey, I need your advice. Can I get 30 minutes retainer time? We just need to go through it and they'll tell you what to do.
Yeah, and it would be a good, like I need a new one now, but I've had one in the past where I've gotten into like maybe hot water, like my old company, like I just need to know.
Is this a problem?
Yeah,
or how much exposure do I have on this?
Yeah, or what should I do? Like, how should I respond to this situation?
Totally.
So it's just good to have somebody that you can call.
Absolutely.
Web person.
Yeah. Somebody who can help you when you've effed up your coding or you are like, I don't know what I'm doing in my WordPress.
I actually have this on retainer. So he does, I found him on Fiverr or something.
Mm-hmm.
And just, I pay him $100 a month and he maintains my WordPress, which honestly, most months he doesn't have to do anything. But recently I got hacked.
Or like the apps, like making sure the compatibility between different plugins and stuff.
My WordPress, I'm not going to upgrade that. It's going to break everything. So he does that kind of stuff for me.
Like all the compatibility.
If there's been weird things that I'm just like,
this is coded funny, I can't fix it.
He'll fix it. So
I think you need someone like that because when it happens, it's too late.
Yeah.
So you need the like, oh my God, what happened? Please fix the format. And like my guy backs up my site automatically and he keeps the previous versions.
I think he originally did a streamlined, but I'm not saying the words right.
Do you want to play?
He like
charades?
Cleaned up the back end.
Like the coding, got rid of stuff, made it more succinct.
Yeah.
Yeah. And mine will tell me stuff like, hey, that we did a speed report on your stuff and it's loading really slow. So Google's going to punish your searchability if it doesn't start moving faster. Here's what we got to do to make it faster.
Yeah. Or I had some big ass photos that were like way too oversized.
And maybe they're the same, but maybe they're not the same as an SEO, like search engine optimizer person who helps you get the right stuff in your site.
So
it might be different.
I think we'll interview him, but I met and talked to this SEO guy once who he says there's different kinds of SEO. So there's like technical SEO, I think he called it, which is what my web guy does, where he just makes sure there's not things that are going to punish you or are coded weird. But then like a true SEO person it's strategic.
To try to get you to show up in more places for more people.
Yeah. And this guy's got all kinds of info. So I'd love to hire him one day because that can be a game changer for sure.
Yeah, I would love to be like the first designer that comes up in Long Beach when people search into your design.
It's like gamified a little bit. Like he'll set a goal of I want you to be in the top page of this search. And there's
who cares that much about that.
He's cool.
It's like a video game. Like I bet I can
get you. It's so smart.
I bet I can get you in the top 5 in your region. Let's see.
Yeah.
Like done.
Yeah. So we need to interview him. You really want?
I would love a like a social media content person, like the person who helps create it. They have a content schedule. They manage it. They get me out there because I just don't have the wherewithal.
They're like maybe Gen Z. So like they knew that
They've
this
already
is
kept
already
up on.
so old. But like Wes Anderson meme, like we did it in the beginning, not way past.
Yeah, I want to see people who can because I just cannot. And I know a lot of hotties listening. I know you identify with this. You're gonna be like, Shaun, shut up, or Rebecca, shut up. But like, just because we're like in a nice place with our feeds doesn't mean that I wouldn't like to take a step back. Like I'm imagining all the time it would give me and the relief it would give me to have someone else. But I've also watched many successful designers bring that help on and move into like the stratosphere of a new level for their business. And I think that that's a really great place to be.
Yeah, it's like I think it's definitely a place where I know I can get out of my own way. And you do need to be kind of objective about what you're selling. And sometimes it's hard to like, buy me.
I need to get out of my own way. I want someone to tell me what to do. I want to be talented.
Or what doesn't make sense. Like what is...
That's so cute, Shaun. We're not doing that though.
Well, or like...
Don't spend your time on that.
What does a person who's new to your site, what don't they understand? Like what have you not clarified well? Because you know it so well. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm too close. So that would be great to have like a social media manager, a content producer. Like they're probably one and the same in my mind, but who knows?
Okay. And number 20. This one's kind of cute.
You need a whole group of design besties.
You really do, guys. I know we talk about this all the time, but truly
outrageous.
Gem
in the holograms.
Without outrageous. My design besties, I don't know.
It's not possible.
I think I would have quit.
Squad goals. We would have ditched this business a long time ago. Maybe in the peak of 2020.
Depends on you.
No pressure. If you quit, I quit.
But it's like, I mean, like I got an email today from a prospective client. Like, okay, how do I respond? Is it too thirsty if I reply half an hour later on a Saturday? Like sometimes it's stuff like that. And sometimes it's like,
yeah,
here's what's on my plate today. I'm putting this out here for accountability. I want to come back.
Ask me later how I did. Like, yeah. Because we don't always have the coworkers. So our design besties are each other's coworkers. And I also am not going to necessarily ask my team about something that I would ask you about because I can unfilter even more.
Well, some of it's, like...
Some of it's them.
Proprietary. Yeah. And like proprietary, like you don't want your team knowing how stressed about money you are sometimes or... them.
Well, they're listening now, but
yeah. Sometimes. I mean,
and when you're like trying to reach goals for yourself, you're just like, I just need to tailor the audience I talk about this with. And we're at a very different level of vulnerability than probably most designer besties, but you can get there.
It took time though. Like, I mean, so again,
test it little by little.
Plugging, we use the Marco Polo app for this, where we just drop video messages every day. So it's not real time. Even though sometimes Shaun and I go through times where like we're literally
watching you. It says that you're on there live and you're watching me.
And then
record.
I call you and then we like talk on the way home. So it's kind of like 2010 again.
What were we doing?
I don't know. For me, like in 2010, I was just like
chatting,
calling people in my commute.
Oh, I did that all the way up through.
Maybe because that's when I had a commute.
At least through 2015. But then from like 2015 to 2017, before I left the bank, I was on the train a lot, which it's like, I was never that person to like have my conversations while I'm on the train.
It's also like, I just haven't had friends in a long time that I've felt compelled to every day. Like, what'd you do today? Like growing up, like I always had that.
Yeah. What are you doing tonight?
But you kind of age out of it. But having this business, like I've needed it again. We talk about personal stuff too a little bit.
But you constantly need the like, I don't know. Is this right? Does this sound
so
good?
Hard. There's so many different things to think about. So
you need your besties.
Get them.
And you need these other, well, we tried to make it 20 something, but we did 20 something. That's a lot.
Yeah.
21 Jump Street.
1 hour and 20 minutes.
Look at us. It was meant to be. It was destiny.
It was kind of okay.
Well, I hope you all have a giant list that you're working with now and you have some goals for yourself to ask around. maybe honestly, put it in a spreadsheet and circulate it to a bunch of people. Ask them to sign up like it's a potluck.
Oh, that'd be good. A little directory, first come, first serve.
Everybody put your name here.
That's a good idea. I know. I do feel like I want to like lock this into a spreadsheet because sometimes I think I forget about people.
I have
one and then I forget to maintain it. So this is my self-reminder.
This is your goal. You got it. Squad goals for all of our hotties. And until next time.
Stay hot, designers.
Thanks for listening to the Hot Young Designers Club podcast.
For more on what we talked about today, check out the show notes.
Your support helps us grow, so share with your design besties.
And subscribe and leave a review on Apple Podcasts.
Our conversations continue on Instagram.
And be sure to download our monthly resources on our website and our Patreon.